Move out of my seat!
Do not touch the folio.
You threatened me!
I never touched you.
Sir, stay seated!
She hit him!
He came at me!
Preserve every recording. Are you sure you want the crew to keep touching this?
Listen to him acting important.
Hand me the case.
No, take it
Take
from
it
him.
from
Sir, cooperate. Verify my identification first.
Why?
My badge is inside.
Keep your hands visible! He's reaching for something. It looks like identification. Nobody asked you. Read the seal. That proves nothing.
Who is the problem?
The man in 2A.
Verify the serial number.
He assaulted me.
That's false. Lower your phone. Check the badge. I've seen enough. You're coming with us. You never verified it.
Remove him now.
Call the Federal Duty Center. You don't direct me. Check
Everyone
the number.
stay seated.
Do not open the folio.
You no longer control. Make her delete that video! No.
Lower the phone.
She struck him! Stop recording!
Preserve the footage. Move. The folio stays with me.
Why is nobody listening?
Step away from him! This is under control. No, it isn't.
Arrest that passenger!
Check the inner seal. Sir, is the package intact? Outer case disturbed.
Who is
Open
he?
the door fully.
The cabin went silent the moment the senator's wife struck the quiet black passenger across the face. He did not raise his voice. He only steadied the worn leather folio on his lap and asked, "Are you sure you want the crew to keep touching this?" Why did the flight attendant ignore the badge he tried to show? Why did airport security treat him like the threat while wealthy passengers watched? And why, 12 minutes later, did federal officers surround the jet before it could leave the gate? The answer was hidden inside that folio, and in a promise he was already afraid he would break. Stay until the final door opens. The green door indicator flashed once, twice, then held steady while the jet bridge door remained open. "Close it!" Celeste Vance snapped. "This man assaulted me, and now you're delaying a federal flight." No one moved. A broad-shouldered woman in a navy coat stepped into the cabin, followed by 3 federal officers. Cold air carried the smell of wet concrete and jet fuel through first class. Elaine Porter gripped the galley curtain. "We were about to push back." "You were ordered not to," the woman replied. Celeste pointed at Marcus. "He refused crew instructions. I want him removed." Marcus remained in 2A, one hand flat on the worn brown folio across his knees. His cheek burned beneath the cabin lights, but his voice stayed low. "Was the door secured after the call?" The woman studied the blinking indicator. "No. Who opened the folio?" Grant Pike stepped from the galley. "I conducted a standard inspection." "I told you not to break the seal," Marcus said. "You were being detained. You don't dictate procedure." The woman removed one glove. "Mr. Pike, step away from him." Celeste laughed once. "Do you know who my husband is?" "I know his office called airport operations 6 minutes before anyone verified that credential." The laugh vanished. A service cart shifted as the aircraft settled. Glass trembled in the divider. Passengers sat rigid beneath amber lights. A man in 3C lowered his phone. Across the aisle, Lena Ortiz kept recording, her screen hidden beside her coat. Celeste saw it. "Make her delete that." "No one deletes anything," the woman said. "Phones remain available. Cabin records are preserved. Everyone stays for interview." Elaine's fingers creased the vinyl curtain. This was a seating dispute. Marcus turned toward her. "It stopped being one when you ignored my request to verify my identification. You never explained." "I tried." The words were so quiet that several passengers leaned forward. The green indicator blinked again. One officer crouched beside Marcus without touching the folio. "Is the package intact?" Marcus traced the rough leather edge. The clasp had been forced, but the sealed envelope inside still lay beneath the folded recital program. "The outer case was opened," he said. "The protected seal is unbroken." Pike shifted toward the aisle. 2 officers closed the space around him. "Don't make this theatrical," he muttered. The woman faced him. "You brought an unverified political call into a protected screening decision. The theater began before we arrived." Celeste's assistant, Lila Morton, stared at her tablet. A message preview glowed before she locked the screen. Marcus caught 4 words. Office says deny contact. Who sent that? He asked. Lila pressed the tablet to her chest. It's private. Not anymore, the woman said. A boarding chime sounded overhead, bright and absurdly cheerful. Marcus's phone vibrated inside a clear evidence pouch on the galley counter. Once, then again. Naomi's name lit the screen. He checked the cabin clock. 6:42 p.m. The woman followed his gaze, her voice softening. Marcus, I need the sequence from the beginning. He watched the phone go dark before answering. Then start 40 minutes ago, at the priority gate. At 6:02 p.m., Marcus pushed the hotel room door shut with his heel and set the worn leather folio on the desk. Rain tapped the window in thin lines. The room smelled of stale coffee and citrus cleaner. His phone buzzed beside the lamp. Naomi. Voice message. He removed his charcoal coat, folded it over the chair, and pressed play. Dad, rehearsal starts at 7. The solo is after intermission, probably 8:15. A cello string sounded behind her. You said you'd be there before I went on. Just don't make me look for you if you're not coming. The message ended without goodbye. Marcus stood with one cuff unbuttoned. For several seconds, his fingers could not push the button through the hole. He tried again, slower, then sat on the bed. On the desk lay 2 routes to Briar Glen, the commercial ticket in his name, and a federal transfer authorization for a later government flight. The later route was safer for the sealed material. It also landed after the concert. Dana Cole answered on the second ring. You're still at the hotel? She asked. Leaving now. Use the secure transport. It misses the recital. A pause. Through the phone came the click of a keyboard. Marcus, the package links 3 airport contractors to the procurement case. If anyone knows you're carrying it, they don't. That is not the same as being safe. He looked at the folded concert program beside the folio. Naomi's name appeared in small black print under student soloists. I'll keep the case in hand. Window seat, no checked bag. Direct transfer at the gate. You chose 2A? Yes. No aisle exposure. Good. Call when the cabin door closes. Marcus slid the program inside the folio, beneath the sealed envelope. His thumb left a dark crescent on the fold where rain from his sleeve had dampened the paper. 8:15, Dana said. You might make it. I have to. No, you have to deliver the material. You want to make it. He closed the clasp. Both can be true. The elevator took too long. Its brass numbers glowed one by one while he watched the seconds move across his phone. In the lobby, a child dragged a violin case over the tile, its small wheels rattling behind her. Marcus turned away first. Outside, cold rain slipped under his collar as he crossed to the waiting car. The driver opened the trunk. Carry on only, Marcus said. The driver glanced at the folio. Want that in front? It stays with me. Traffic crawled past brake lights reflected on the wet highway. Naomi sent a photograph from backstage, her black concert shoes beside the cello endpin, one lace untied. Marcus typed, I'm on my way. He erased it. Then he typed, boarding soon. I'll call from the gate. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, and did not return. At 6:31, the terminal rose beyond the windshield, all glass and white light. Marcus checked the seal by touch, paid the driver, and stepped into the rain. The automatic doors breathed warm air across his face. Inside, the departure board showed Flight 417. On time. For once, the clock seemed willing to help him. Then a priority agent looked at his boarding pass, looked at him and said, Sir, this line is for first-class passengers. Sir, This line is for first-class passengers. Marcus kept his boarding pass extended. The gate agent's scanner rested nearby, but she did not take it. "It's seat 2A," he said. Her eyes moved from the name to his charcoal sweater, then to the worn leather folio beneath his arm. Suitcase wheels clicked behind him. Warm air carried coffee, damp wool, and floor polish. "May I see identification?" He handed it over. She compared the photograph twice. "You purchased this ticket yourself?" "Yes." A man in a gray suit checked his watch. No one spoke. The pass stayed in the agent's hand beneath the priority sign. Marcus glanced at the clock. 6:34 p.m. "Is there a problem?" "No, sir." She scanned it. The machine chirped green, yet she held it another second. "We've had upgrade errors today." "Mine isn't one." The automatic doors opened. A woman in a cream suit entered beneath an umbrella carried by her assistant. At 47, Celeste Vance moved as if every room had been prepared for her. A jeweled brooch pinned her collar. Her assistant, 32-year-old Lila Morton, followed with 2 phones and a tablet, wearing a fixed half-smile. "The car service was told 6:25, Celeste said. "I drafted the complaint." "Drafting isn't sending." The gate agent straightened. "Mrs. Vance, welcome back." Celeste glanced at Marcus's pass. "Are we delayed?" "No, ma'am." "Good. I need 2A." The agent's smile tightened. "It's assigned." "To whom?" Marcus folded his pass. Celeste faced him. "You?" "Yes. That seat is usually held for me. Tonight it was sold to me." The agent cleared her throat. "We may arrange an exchange on board." Marcus drew the folio closer. "I selected 2A for a reason." Celeste laughed. "Everyone says that when they get upgraded." The man in the gray suit studied the carpet. A woman near the window adjusted her headphones. "My ticket is not an upgrade," Marcus said. "Then someone made a mistake." Celeste turned to the agent. "Fix it." The scanner beeped for the next passenger, but the agent ignored him. "Mr. Reed, would you wait while I contact the cabin?" "Reed," Marcus corrected. "Boarding closes in 18 minutes." Color rose along her cheeks. She pressed the interphone. "Elaine, Mrs. Vance is here, and 2A is occupied." Static crackled. "Send them down," a woman replied. "I'll resolve it before departure." Celeste smiled. "There, that wasn't difficult." Marcus took back the identification the agent had forgotten to return. Its edge felt cold against his palm. At the jet bridge, Lila stepped aside for Celeste. "Should I notify the senator's office?" she whispered. "Not yet. Let the crew correct it quietly." The bridge sloped downward, humming beneath rolling bags. Rain rattled against metal. Marcus followed, one hand on the folio, the other pressing Naomi's folded program through the leather. At the aircraft door, Elaine Porter waited in a Navy uniform. 44 and polished, she rubbed her wedding ring with her thumb before greeting Celeste by name. Then she examined Marcus's seat number. "Mr. Reed, let's find a solution that keeps everyone comfortable." Marcus looked toward first class. "I already have one," he said. "It's printed on my boarding pass." Elaine stepped aside, but her smile did not reach her eyes. "Seat 3D is open," she said. "Same cabin, same service." Marcus looked past her. Seat 2A sat against the window wall, shielded by a divider. No one passing could glance into the folio. "My assignment is 2A." Celeste entered behind him, bringing cold rain and perfume into the cabin. "This is becoming childish." "Mr. Reed, Mrs. Vance prefers this seat," Elaine said. "Moving one row would help us depart." "I also have a requirement." "What requirement?" "One I'm not discussing here." Celeste's nail tapped the metal number beside 2A. Tick, tick, tick. "You're a consultant, aren't you?" she asked. "Some last-minute upgrade?" "My work is not relevant." "It is if you're pretending inconvenience is importance." Lila stopped near the galley with Celeste's coat. Passengers bunched at the door. "Please sit," Elaine told Marcus. He moved into 2A and fastened the belt. Rain streaked the window. Celeste remained standing. "I asked for that seat." "There is another window seat," Elaine said. "I did not ask for another." A businessman lowered his newspaper. Across the aisle, a woman paused with her bag beneath 2D. Marcus set the folio on his lap, clasp inward. Celeste looked down at it. "Put that overhead and move." "No." The word tightened the row. Elaine gripped the seat back. "Carry-on items must be stowed. This remains under my control until the door closes." "According to whom?" "The handling instructions attached to it." "Then show her," Celeste said. "I can't." "Convenient." Her nail resumed its rhythm. Tick, tick, tick. Marcus checked the clock. 6:38. Naomi would be tuning backstage, drawing the bow across each string while pretending not to watch the doors. Elaine followed his glance. "We can end this in 30 seconds." "I agree." "Then move." "No." A suitcase struck the jet bridge wall. Someone muttered about the delay. Heated bread scented the galley, too warm for the tightness in Marcus's throat. Celeste bent closer. "People spend years earning access to rooms like this." Marcus met her eyes. "I bought a ticket." "That isn't what I meant." The woman in 2D looked down at her hands. Elaine touched the boarding pass. "There may have been a system issue." The scanner confirmed it. "Systems make mistakes." "So do people." Elaine withdrew her hand. Only the fan and the tapping nail could be heard. Lila whispered, "Mrs. Vance, 3A is ready. I can move your things." Celeste turned, her brooch catching the light. "My things are not moving. His are." Marcus shifted the folio beneath both hands. "You may take any equivalent seat," he said. "I will remain here." Celeste's face went still. "Elaine, you said you would resolve this?" Elaine looked at the passengers, then at Marcus. Her wedding ring turned beneath her thumb. "I'm asking you one final time to cooperate." His phone vibrated inside his coat pocket. One pulse. Naomi. He did not reach for it. "What happens if I don't?" Elaine pressed the call button above the galley panel. "We determine whether you were properly boarded at all." The chime sounded through first class, and every nearby face turned toward seat 2A. The call chime faded, but Marcus remained buckled into 2A, while Elaine stood over him and Celeste blocked the aisle. "Your boarding status is confirmed," Elaine said. "That does not change the need for cooperation." "Then there is no boarding issue." "There is a cabin issue." Marcus looked at the people surrounding his seat. The belt crossed his waist, flat and tight. Behind them, passengers waited beneath white ceiling lights while cool air moved across his hands. Celeste folded her arms. He knows exactly what he's doing. A younger flight attendant appeared from the galley carrying water bottles. Noah Bell was 28, narrow-faced, with a loose curl falling over his forehead. "Do you need me?" he asked. "Keep boarding moving," Elaine said. Noah's eyes dropped to the folio. A strip of blue security paper showed beneath the clasp. "Is that a federal transfer sleeve?" Elaine turned. "It is luggage," Marcus said. "It is not to be separated from me." Celeste laughed. "He gets one nice seat and starts issuing orders." The man in 3C lifted his phone, then lowered it when Elaine noticed. The cabin fan hummed. Across the aisle, The woman in 2D held an untouched glass. Ice clicked inside it. Elaine crouched beside Marcus. "Mr. Reed, people who belong in this cabin understand discretion." He waited. "My seat was paid for. My documents are valid. What exactly am I failing to understand?" Celeste answered for her. "Gratitude." No one challenged her. Marcus reached for the buckle. Elaine straightened. "Are you finally moving?" He stopped with 2 fingers on the latch. "No, I was going to let the passengers behind you pass." Noah stepped aside and called toward the jet bridge. "Please continue boarding through the left aisle." The line moved again. Coats brushed seat backs. Wheels rattled over the threshold. Each passenger passed, saw the people standing over him, and looked away. Celeste leaned closer. Her perfume mixed with warm bread from the galley. "Do you know how many calls it took to keep this seat available for years?" "That sounds like a question for the airline." "You think this is funny?" "No." His phone vibrated once against his ribs. He pictured Naomi in the wings, bow in hand, checking an empty doorway. Elaine extended her palm. "Give me the folio. I'll place it in the forward closet, and you can move to 3D. "No. You are refusing a direct crew instruction." "I am refusing an instruction that conflicts with the handling notice you have not read." Noah shifted the bottles to one arm. "We could verify the notice." Elaine's gaze hardened. "You could finish your service check." He stayed where he was. Celeste looked at him. "Is everyone suddenly confused?" "I only said we can verify it." Elaine pointed toward the galley. "Now." Noah left, but not before looking again at the blue strip beneath the clasp. Marcus watched him go. Whether Noah would act on what he saw was another matter. Celeste uncrossed her arms. "Fine," she said. "If the crew won't handle your performance, I will." She reached down for the folio. Marcus kept the belt fastened and placed one hand over the clasp. "Do not touch that." Celeste's fingers closed around the folio. Marcus tightened his hand over the clasp. "Let go." "You don't give orders here. I'm protecting restricted material." She pulled, lifting the folio from his knees. Leather scraped across his watch. Marcus stood before unfastening the belt. The strap caught his hip, holding him half-turned beside the window. "Mrs. Vance, release it." "You're threatening me?" "No." A plastic cup on the divider trembled as bodies shifted in the aisle. Celeste tugged again. Marcus freed the buckle and placed himself between her and the overhead bin. Both hands stayed visible, one on the folio, the other raised near his chest. "You may not remove this from my control." For 1 second, nothing moved. Then Celeste struck him across the face. The sound was small and flat. The cup beside 2D kept shaking after the cabin went silent. Marcus's head turned toward the window. Heat spread beneath his left eye. He tasted blood where his cheek met a tooth, but did not touch his face. Lila's tablet slipped against her coat. "Celeste," she whispered. Celeste stepped back. "He came at me." "No," the woman in 2D said. Lena Ortiz, 36, wore dark curls above a green scarf. Her phone stood against her handbag, camera facing the aisle. Celeste saw it. "Were you recording me?" "I started when you grabbed his property." "Delete it." Lena did not move. Elaine found her voice. "Everyone stay calm." Marcus looked at her. "Preserve the cabin video." "There may not be video here." "Then preserve the flight deck audio, boarding records, crew calls, and every passenger statement." Elaine stared at him. Celeste pressed 2 fingers to her wrist. "He blocked me." He raised his hand. "My hand was open." "You advanced on me." "I stood up." The businessman in 3C lowered his gaze to an untouched newspaper. Behind him, A woman removed one earbud. Noah returned and stopped when he saw Marcus's cheek. What happened? Call airport security, Elaine said. Noah looked from Celeste to the shaking cup. For whom? For him? Marcus lifted the folio from the seat. The clasp had shifted, but the seal remained hidden. Call a federal duty officer first, he said. You are not directing my crew. I'm asking you to prevent a larger mistake. Celeste pointed at him. He thinks he owns the plane. Marcus opened his coat enough to reach the inner pocket. Elaine raised a hand. Keep your hands visible. He stopped. My identification is inside. Do not reach for it. Then remove it yourself. She hesitated. Noah said, I can. Make the security call, Elaine ordered. He stepped back. Should I report an assault? Celeste answered first. Report a threatening passenger. Lena's phone remained steady. Marcus lowered his hand. Report both claims. Use those words exactly. A chime sounded from the open aircraft door. Rain hammered the jet bridge roof like fingers on metal. Elaine lifted the interphone. This is the senior cabin attendant on Flight 417. We need security for a disruptive passenger in row 2. Marcus held the folio against his ribs. And tell them, he said, not to let this aircraft door close. Elaine turned away, but Noah had heard him. So had everyone else. Grant Pike entered the cabin in a rain-speckled coat. Who is the passenger? Elaine pointed at Marcus. Row 2. He refused instructions and frightened Mrs. Vance. Celeste pressed a hand to her chest. He stood over me. Marcus remained beside 2A with the folio against his ribs. His cheek burned beneath the lights. Pike was 52, broad-shouldered, silver at the temples. He nodded to Celeste first. Mrs. Vance, are you hurt? No, but only because the crew intervened. Lena raised her phone. That is not what happened. You'll make a statement later, Pike said. I'm making one now. Rain drummed above the jet bridge, and warm, coffee-scented air met the cold draft from the open door. Sir, set the case down. No, it contains protected material. Celeste exhaled. He has been saying that for 10 minutes. Pike held out his hand. Identification. Marcus moved toward his inner pocket. Elaine said, He tried that before. I told you what I was reaching for. Pike removed the credential and opened it beneath the reading light. His thumb covered the gold seal. Federal Bureau of Investigation, he read. Special Agent. Celeste laughed. Anyone can buy a badge. Verify the serial number, Marcus said. Pike looked toward Celeste. What happened? She asked him to move, Elaine said. He became obstructive. He grabbed my wrist, Celeste added. I never touched you. Pike closed the credential. Mr. Reed, you'll come with us. You haven't verified it. I've seen enough. No, you heard the version you wanted first. Noah stood by the galley, jaw tight. Pike stepped closer. Do not make this larger. Marcus looked at the credential. You are doing that. Equipment moved beneath the aircraft. The plastic cup beside 2D rattled again. Pike reached for the folio. Marcus shifted it away. Do not open this without clearance. You're being detained. Then call the Federal Duty Center. Pike's mouth flattened. I know how to handle an airport incident. Lila's tablet chimed. She looked down, then locked the screen. Pike noticed. The senator's office? His chief of staff. Tell them I have it under control. Marcus turned. You spoke to them already? Pike ignored him. Noah stepped forward. Sir, the sleeve has a protected transfer stripe. Elaine cut in. Return to the galley. Pike opened the credential again, his thumb hiding the seal. Agent or not, Cabin rules apply. They do, Marcus said. So does verification. Pike handed the credential to another officer without asking him to check it. Escort him off. The officer glanced at the folio. And the case? It comes with us. Marcus's fingers tightened on the leather. It does not leave my control. Pike leaned close enough for Marcus to smell mint and rainwater. You no longer have control. Lena said, My recording says otherwise. Pike turned. Lower the phone. No. The cabin went still around that word. Pike signaled. Remove him. Marcus did not resist. He held the folio to his chest and walked toward the open door while every passenger watched. As he passed Lila, her tablet lit again. Office says, make it stick. Marcus saw the message. So did Lena's camera. The glass door clicked shut behind Marcus, muting the cabin to a blur of moving mouths and white ceiling light. Put the folio on the table, Pike said. They had taken him 10 yards down the jet bridge into a narrow room with gray walls, a metal chair, and a window facing the aircraft door. Cold air leaked beneath the frame. Below, a baggage cart beeped in reverse. Verify my credential first. Pike placed the badge by a terminal without entering the number. You are not giving instructions. I am telling you how to avoid compromising evidence. Set it down. Marcus looked through glass. Passengers remained seated. Elaine held the interphone in the galley. Lena's phone was still raised. He lowered the folio onto the metal table. Pike slid it beyond the partition. Marcus's phone followed inside an evidence pouch. Do not open the case, Marcus said. You have repeated that enough. Then listen once. The phone vibrated. Naomi. It moved across the steel surface. The wall clock read 6:47 p.m. Let me answer. No calls during detention. She is 17. That changes nothing. The screen went dark. Marcus gripped the chair until the cold metal pressed crescents into his palm. A younger officer entered with a form. Dispatch wants the credential code. I'll handle it, Pike said. They asked whether it has a blue transfer marker. Pike glanced at the folio. It has a sticker. It is not a sticker, Marcus said. Pike unclipped the clasp. Marcus stepped forward. Chair legs scraped across the floor. Stop. The younger officer raised both hands. Marcus froze before the yellow line on the tile. If you break the internal seal, you contaminate an active chain of custody. Pike opened the cover. A folded recital program slid out and landed face down near his shoe. The sealed envelope remained inside. Marcus stared at the paper. Pike nudged it aside. Personal material. Pick it up. We are discussing the envelope. Pick up the program. Pike looked through the glass. You should be more concerned about yourself. Marcus's jaw tightened. That belongs to my daughter. The phone vibrated again. Naomi lit the screen and reflected in the window. Pike reached toward the sealed envelope. Marcus placed both palms against the glass. If you touch that seal, everyone in this room becomes part of the investigation. The younger officer looked at Pike. Maybe we should wait. For what? Verification. Pike kept his fingers above the envelope. He may be using official-looking material to delay us. Marcus looked at the credential lying untouched beside the terminal. The answer is 6 inches from your hand. The younger officer read the number aloud and wrote it on his form. Pike snapped the folio shut. We verify when the scene is secure. It was secure before you arrived. The phone stopped vibrating. Through the window, Marcus saw the cabin lights dim. The green door indicator beside the jet bridge began to flash. He looked at the recital program still on the floor. Do not close that door. Pike lifted the interphone. Flight 417 may proceed once I clear the passenger issue. The indicator blinked faster. On the desk, his daughter's name vanished from the dark screen. The younger officer waited until Pike turned toward the interphone, then copied the credential number into the terminal. His name tag read Caleb Ross. 27 and narrow-shouldered, he kept his voice low. "Dispatch asked for the full code." "I said I would handle it," Pike replied. "The aircraft door is cycling." Beyond the glass, the green indicator flashed. Marcus heard the bridge seal preparing to retract. "Enter the number." Pike covered the keyboard. "Stop directing my staff." Marcus's phone vibrated inside the pouch. Naomi's name appeared, then vanished beneath Pike's arm. Caleb picked up the recital program by its edges and placed it beside the folio. "Thank you," Marcus said. Pike's jaw tightened. "Ross, outside." Caleb stayed put. Dispatch asked whether the blue stripe was embossed or printed. "Printed." "It's embossed," Marcus said. Caleb touched the raised band. "It is." A boarding chime sounded. Through the window, Elaine reached toward the door panel. Marcus stepped to the yellow line. If that jet moves, every cabin record becomes harder to secure. Pike lifted the interphone. "Gate control. Prepare release." Caleb entered the last 4 digits. The screen turned amber. Searching Federal Duty Registry. Pike reached for the keys. Caleb shifted between him and the terminal. 2 seconds. "You are on probation." "Yes, sir." "Remember who signs your evaluation." Caleb's throat moved, but his hand stayed on the desk. The terminal chimed. A green bar filled the screen. Verified. Active federal credential. Protected transfer status. Contact duty center immediately. A baggage alarm beeped below. Cold air pressed through the seam. Pike read the notice twice. "This does not prove the contents are legitimate." A second warning replaced it. "Do not search, move, or separate holder from material. Preserve all recordings. Lock aircraft at gate." Caleb grabbed the interphone. "Gate control. Freeze Flight 417. Do not retract the bridge. Do not close the aircraft door." Elaine's voice crackled back. "Security cleared us." "Clearance is revoked." "By whom?" Caleb looked at the green screen. "Federal Duty Center." Pike seized the handset. "This is Supervisor Pike. Hold position pending clarification." The door indicator stopped flashing and returned to red. Caleb opened a second line and read the code aloud. The operator answered. "Place the credential holder on speaker." Pike pressed mute. "We are not escalating this because of an automated response." Marcus watched him. "You escalated it when you opened the folio." Caleb released mute. "This is Special Agent Marcus Reed. Outer case opened without authorization. Inner seal intact. Cabin witnesses present. Possible political contact influencing detention." The operator's tone sharpened. "Remain where you are. Federal response is en route. No one is to alter evidence." "How long?" Caleb asked. "Minutes." Pike lowered the handset. At the aircraft door, Lila appeared with her tablet pressed to her chest. Celeste stood behind her. The printer clicked and produced a narrow strip. Caleb tore it free. At the bottom, beneath the verification code, one instruction appeared. Identify all contacts from the senator's office. The printer strip was still warm in Caleb's hand when heavy footsteps struck the jet bridge. "Step away from the table," a woman called. Dana Cole entered first, rain darkening her coat. 3 federal officers followed without touching Marcus or the evidence. Wet concrete and hot wiring scented the air. Pike lifted his chin. "This is airport security. It became federal when you opened protected material." Celeste appeared behind the glass with Lila. "Arrest him." Donna ignored her. "Special Agent Reed, is the inner seal intact?" Yes. Outer case opened. Credential not verified before detention. The title changed the room. Elaine froze at the aircraft door. Noah's hand stopped on the galley curtain. Passengers turned toward 2A. Pike scoffed. Anyone can claim rank afterward. Dana held out her palm. Credential. Caleb passed it over. She checked the code against the green screen. You had this, she said. I had an uncooperative passenger and a political complaint. You had a verified federal agent carrying sealed evidence. Celeste struck the glass with one knuckle. He threatened me. Lena's voice carried from the cabin. My video says he did not. Dana pointed to an officer. Secure every recording. No deletions, resets, or revised reports. Elaine swallowed. The cabin system may not retain. Then we learn what it retains before anyone changes the answer. The overhead fan clicked off. In the quiet, Marcus heard his phone vibrate inside the clear pouch. Naomi. Dana noticed. 1 minute. Preserve the records first, Marcus said. Then let me call her. She nodded to Caleb. Copy the gate log, bridge access, crew calls, and every contact from the senator's office. Lila pressed her tablet to her chest. That device stays, Dana said. It contains private correspondence. It contains evidence. Celeste stepped closer. You cannot treat me this way because my husband serves the country. No one mentioned his office until your assistant's messages did. Lila's face went blank. Pike reached toward the folio. I should return that. 2 officers closed the space around him. Do not touch it, Dana said. The same words Marcus had used now stopped everyone. Donna opened the outer case with gloved hands. The sealed envelope lay beneath the folded recital program. She checked the seal, closed the folio, and returned it to Marcus with both hands. Chain of custody restored. He accepted it without smiling. The leather felt warm where others had handled it. Donna faced the cabin. Flight 417 is suspended. Witnesses will be separated. No one leaves until cleared. Celeste's voice sharpened. Do you understand who will hear about this? Yes, that is why the call log matters. Caleb sealed the printer strip in a sleeve. Noah stepped forward. I saw the transfer stripe before security came, he said. Elaine turned. Noah, you told me to ignore it. The room seemed to narrow around her. Marcus's phone vibrated again. Naomi's name stayed on the screen long enough for him to read 6:56 p.m. Donna handed him the pouch. Call her. He pressed answer, but the line had gone dark. Hundreds of miles away, the recital hall doors were closing. Naomi? Marcus said, though the call had already dropped. The interview room beyond the gate offices had walls the color of old paper. A fluorescent tube buzzed overhead. Someone had left coffee on the counter long enough for a skin to form across it. Donna closed the door. Try again. Marcus pressed redial. The phone rang 4 times. Dad? Naomi answered beneath the muffled tuning of strings. I'm here. No, you're not. He looked at the recital program beside the folio. One corner was bent where Pike's shoe had pushed it across the floor. I know. A stage manager called in the background. I have to go, Naomi said. Wait. The word came out too sharp. He lowered his voice. Did they move your solo? I asked. They said no. I'm sorry. Naomi breathed into the receiver. You always sound sorry from somewhere else. The room went still. He heard her cello case latch snap shut, then footsteps crossing wood. I won't make another promise, he said. Good. The line clicked off. Marcus kept the phone against his ear until the screen dimmed. Outside, an evidence cart squeaked along the corridor. Dana placed a paper cup beside him, turning the handle away from his sleeve. The next secure flight leaves in 90 minutes. The solo starts before that. I know. He set the phone face down. Finish the interviews. You can leave the first round to me. No. Secure Lena's recording, the gate logs, Noah's statement, everything before someone calls from upstairs. A knock interrupted them. Lena Ortiz entered with an officer and held out her phone. I sent the original file to 2 cloud accounts, she said, and to my sister. Why her? Dana asked. She teaches music in Briar Glen. Marcus looked up. Lena hesitated. She's at the recital. Within a minute, a live video filled Marcus's screen. The image shook as Lena's sister moved down a dark aisle. Warm stage light washed over rows of faces. Programs rustled. Someone coughed. Then the camera passed the first row. Seat A-12 was empty. Marcus had chosen it 6 weeks earlier because Naomi would see him when she lifted her bow. The stage lights brightened. Naomi walked out carrying her cello, black dress brushing her ankles. She bowed, sat, and adjusted the end pin. For 1 second, her gaze moved toward the empty chair. Marcus stopped breathing. The first note reached him through the phone speaker, thin but clear. No one in the room spoke. Dana removed her glasses. Lena turned toward the wall. Naomi played without looking up again. When the final note faded, applause rolled through the phone. Marcus placed 2 fingers against the screen but did not clap. I missed it, he said. Lena's sister whispered. She was extraordinary. Marcus nodded once. Thank you for staying. The video ended. Donna set a sealed evidence envelope beside the folio. We found a call from the senator's office time-stamped before Pike checked your badge. Marcus stared at the dark screen. Then their report has the order wrong. We have more than that. The door opened. Noah stood in the hallway, holding a memory card between trembling fingers. Elaine told me the cabin recording was corrupted, he said. It wasn't? Noah held the memory card between 2 fingers. Donna opened an evidence sleeve. When did you copy it? 6:41, before security boarded. The recorder worked. Elaine told me to mark it corrupted. Rain ticked against the window. The light hummed, and the room smelled of cold coffee and damp uniforms. Elaine sat at the far end. I said the system was unreliable. You said corrupted, Noah replied. Miriam Chen, 43, entered with a gray case, her black hair fixed in a precise knot. The Federal Aviation Inspector spoke quietly. No summaries. We compare sources. She inserted the card into an isolated reader. Cabin noise filled the room. Belts clicking, wheels rattling, Celeste's nail tapping metal. Then Elaine's recorded voice said, There may have been an upgrade error. Miriam paused the file. Your report says Agent Reed initiated the confrontation. That is how I understood it. The audio records Mrs. Vance reaching for the folio first, and 3 warnings about protected material. Noah placed a printed report on the table. He smoothed one curled corner again and again without looking up. She rewrote the timeline after the senator's office called. Elaine turned. You do not know that. I watched you delete the first draft. The printer clicked. Dana laid the gate log beside the report. 6:39 p.m. Call from Senator Vance's office. 6:43 p.m. Security requested. 6:48 p.m. Credential verification begun. Miriam aligned the pages. The call came before anyone checked the badge. Marcus touched the bent recital program inside his folio, then closed it. What did the caller ask for? Dana said. Pike answered from the wall. They wanted Mrs. Vance protected. Exact words. Remove the passenger before departure. Dana placed Lila's tablet beside the log. The recovered message glowed. Office says make it stick. Lila pressed her lips together. I did not write that. But you received it, Miriam said. Behind the glass, Celeste struck the chair arm. This proves nothing about me. Lena's video showed Celeste taking the folio, Marcus standing with one hand raised, then the strike. When the screen went dark, Miriam faced Elaine. Why did your report say he grabbed her wrist? Elaine's wedding ring clicked against the table. Because that was what Mrs. Vance told me. You had witnesses. I had a departure time, a supervisor, and a senator's wife demanding action. You also had a choice, Noah said. Elaine looked at him. The report's corner sprang up beneath his hand. Marcus spoke quietly. Was anything deleted? 2 crew call times were altered, Miriam said. The server kept the originals. The manifest was changed after detention. We have both versions. Donna sleeved the pages. Then this was not a misunderstanding. Pike shifted. What happens now? Suspension notices tonight. An independent hearing within 30 days. Preservation orders for the airline, airport authority, and senator's office. Celeste stood. You cannot drag my family into this. Dana faced her. Your family entered the record before Agent Reed's badge did. Noah lifted his hand. The paper remained flat. Outside, an officer approached with 3 envelopes marked Notice of Federal Hearing. The hearing room clock clicked to 9 a.m. as Celeste Vance removed the jeweled brooch from her cream jacket and placed it beside a glass of water. Across the aisle, Marcus sat with the worn folio closed on the table. Federal Arbiter Robert Hale, 58, entered. His silver glasses rested low as he aligned 3 yellow pencils. This hearing concerns interference with protected material, falsified records, and misuse of political access. It does not concern status. Celeste's attorney rose. Mrs. Vance believed she was in danger. Then we will examine what she believed and what she did. Lena's video began. The room heard Celeste demand the seat. Elaine questioned Marcus's ticket, and Marcus warned her not to touch the folio. Then came the strike. Celeste stared at the table. The recording lacks context, her attorney said. Miriam Chen entered the cabin audio. The context is 6 earlier warnings and no threat from Agent Reed. Hale turned to Celeste. Did he touch you before you struck him? He blocked me. That was not my question. No. Did he raise his voice? No. Did he identify the folio as protected? Celeste reached toward the brooch, then stopped. He said many things. The screen changed to Lila's recovered messages. Office says, make it stick. Remove him before departure. Pike will handle it. A murmur passed through the room. Lila testified next, her hands shaking around the tablet. Who told you to contact the senator's office? Hale asked. Mrs. Vance, Celeste whispered. Lila, do not address the witness. Lila swallowed. She said the crew needed to remember which family they were dealing with. Pike's counsel leaned forward. My client did not write those messages. No, Dana said. He answered the call. The gate log showed 6:39 p.m., 7 minutes before Pike examined the credential. Why did you not verify the number? Hale asked. I believed removal was necessary. Based on evidence. Based on the complaint. From the senator's office? Pike did not answer. Noah testified that Elaine ordered the cabin recording marked corrupted. Elaine admitted changing the report's sequence after Pike demanded one consistent account. I was protecting the crew, she said. Marcus spoke for the first time. From what? Her tissue tore between her fingers. From becoming the next people they called. Before noon, Hale referred Pike for obstruction and evidence violations. Elaine's certification was suspended. Celeste was referred for assault and interference, while her communications were preserved for prosecutors. The chief of staff faced a separate inquiry, and the senator stepped away from his committee. Celeste stood as Marcus gathered the folio. "I am sorry," she said above the scrape of chairs. He looked at the brooch beside her untouched water. "Are you sorry you struck me?" he asked, "or that the room finally heard it?" She opened her mouth, but Hale called the next matter. Reporters waited beyond the doors. Donna offered Marcus a side exit. He shook his head. "Not yet. There is still the question of what changes after this." He stepped toward the microphones with the folio under his arm, while behind him, Celeste left the brooch on the table. The microphones crowded the hallway before Marcus reached the exit. "Agent Reed, should the new policy carry your name?" Marcus stopped beneath the white lights. "I'm asking for a procedure that works before someone is humiliated," he said. "Not after." He turned to Miriam Chen. "When is the review meeting?" "Monday, 8 a.m. I'll be there." 3 days later, the airport authority conference room smelled of toner and burned coffee. A glass wall overlooked the gates where Flight 417 had remained frozen at the bridge. Sun replaced the rain. A draft waited at every seat. Riyadh Protocol, Special Handling of Federal Credential Holders. Marcus read the title, uncapped a pen, and drew one line through his surname. The room went quiet. "The name gives the reform public weight," the director said. "It gives the public the wrong lesson." "Which is?" "That the system only changes when the person it fails turns out to be important." He wrote beneath it, "Standard Verification Procedure." Miriam leaned forward. "Define it." "No detention before digital verification unless there is an immediate safety threat. No separation from protected material without authorization. Automatic preservation of cabin, gate, and security recordings when a political office contacts operations." A legal advisor tapped her folder. "That will be expensive." "So was the investigation," Marcus continued. "Any employee must be able to trigger an independent review without asking the supervisor whose decision is being questioned." "That could undermine command," the director said. "It can stop command from becoming the evidence." Caleb Ross arrived in a borrowed suit, his probation badge replaced by a permanent one. Noah came in uniform with a training tablet. Marcus pulled out the chair beside him. Miriam displayed a recreation of the boarding dispute. "What should a junior employee do when a supervisor refuses verification?" "State the conflict on the recorded line," Caleb said. "Call the duty center." "And if the supervisor threatens your evaluation?" His fingers tightened around the paper cup. "Make the call anyway." Noah's screen showed the blue transfer stripe. "I saw it," he said. "I knew it mattered. I just wanted someone senior to say it first." Marcus looked at him. "Then the training must teach that noticing is already responsibility." They rewrote the scenario until no junior employee needed permission to preserve evidence. They added witness protection for crew, a 2-person rule for restricted cases, and an alert whenever anyone invoked political connections. At 4:17 p.m., the director slid the final page across the table. Effective system-wide in 30 days. Marcus signed as reviewing witness, not namesake. Outside, aircraft moved beyond the glass. A gate chime sounded. For the first time, it did not pull him back to seat 2A. Dana handed him an envelope. Celeste's written apology. He slipped it unopened into the folio beside Naomi's bent program. "Will you read it?" "Not today." His phone lit with a reminder. Naomi, Spring Recital, October 14th, 7 p.m. Marcus changed the arrival time to 5:30 and added one note. Front row. Early. Then he closed the folio on both the apology and the promise. 8 months later, Marcus arrived at the Briar Glen Arts Hall at 5:31 p.m., 90 minutes before the doors opened. The lobby smelled of fresh paint and rain carried in on coats. Front row. A 1-2 was printed on his ticket. He sat beneath an orchestra photograph and placed the worn leather folio on his knees. Donna had called that morning. "Final report is public," she said. Pike was dismissed. Elaine accepted a 2-year suspension and retraining. Celeste completed court-ordered service and signed an agreement barring political contact with airport staff. And the chief of staff? Resigned. The inquiry remains open. Marcus ran a thumb over the folio's scarred clasp. "Send me the report." "You know what it says." "I want Naomi to know the rules changed." By 6:40, families filled the lobby. Marcus entered before anyone could take his place. Stage lights warmed the red curtains. On his lap lay 2 programs, the old one, creased from the jet bridge floor, and the new one, crisp enough to smell of fresh ink. Backstage, Naomi appeared with her cello. She saw him. Marcus raised one hand. No wave, no promise, just proof. Her face did not soften at once. She looked at seat A12, then at the old program beside the new one. A stagehand called her, and she disappeared behind the curtain. The concert began at 7. When Naomi entered for her solo, Marcus did not reach for his phone. He sat still while she adjusted the end pin and tested one string. Her eyes crossed the first row. This time, the chair was occupied. The opening note filled the hall, deeper than the recording Lena's sister had sent months earlier. Marcus felt it through the wooden armrest. At the final chord, Naomi let the silence remain before lowering her bow. He waited until she stood before applauding. Afterward, she found him near the side exit, carrying the cello case. "You came early," she said. "I did." "How early?" "Early enough to be annoying." The corner of her mouth moved. He offered her the old program. They returned this with the evidence. Naomi traced the broken fold. "You kept it?" "I kept the part I missed." She placed the old program inside the new one and handed both back. "Keep the part you made." Across the state, the revised procedure had already been used 43 times. Caleb now trained security officers using the blue transfer stripe. Noah returned to flying and joined the crew reporting panel. Lena's recording became part of witness preservation training, though she refused interviews that made her the hero. The airport report named every failure without naming the reform after Marcus. Political contacts were logged automatically, and no supervisor could erase a cabin recording alone. Celeste's apology remained sealed inside the folio. As Marcus and Naomi crossed the parking lot, she noticed the envelope. "Still not reading it?" "Not tonight." "Maybe never?" "Maybe." Rainwater shone beneath the lamps. Naomi shifted the cello case toward him. "Carry this?" Marcus took it. At the car, she opened the folio and tucked both programs beside the unopened letter. Then she closed the clasp herself. "Dinner?" she asked. "Yes." "No schedule changes." He looked at her. "None?" They crossed the wet pavement together, the cello between them and the first-row ticket warm in his pocket. The seat was no longer empty. Have you ever watched someone's dignity dismissed because another person had more status, influence, or confidence? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one witness, one recording, or one quiet decision changed the outcome. Pass this story to someone who believes justice should protect ordinary people before their importance is discovered. Subscribe for more stories about accountability, quiet resilience, and reforms that continue long after the cameras leave. And remember the people who spoke when silence would have been easier: the junior employee who checked the number, the crew member who saved the recording, and the passenger who kept filming. Real change often begins with one person refusing to look away.